Hello and welcome to episode 19 of our Timberborn Update 7 Iron Teeth Project 1K playthrough here. Cycle 33, day 10, 18 days left in our drought. Last time I stayed up until 3 in the morning publishing a video where we just stacked a whole bunch of terrain. But it was very important that we get this done because now we get to fill this in and we can figure out exactly how tall we want it to be before I put all of the irrigation in place. But there's other stuff we have to do as well. And I had a lot of really good responses to stuff in the comments, including strategies to try and build this a little bit quicker next time that we are definitely going to take advantage of. But primarily, we need to do something about all of this dirt transferring irrigation elsewhere. So, since we have a drought, and we still have 18 days, more or less, once this water is completely gone, I'm going to completely remove all of this dirt here and completely redo how this is set up. We already know that the flow out of this, just for demonstration purposes, is 3 here, 3 here. So it is a total of 6, which requires 3 edges if you're having the water fall down, which it is going to until this is completely full. So we do still need to have 3 of these sluices on the exit into the reservoir. And because I do not trust myself, I'm going to keep these 3 here for the bad water exit as well. But everything else here is going to be removed. Well, these are going to have to be removed anyway, so we can put the not dirt in place. But we've already decoupled this entire thing all the way down to the ground from these guys. And that is, again, at the bottom, protected with irrigation barriers. But because we already have all of this dirt here that is still connected, we do have to completely decouple it. So I'm going to go ahead, since there's nothing coming out of here now, just put in double dynamite along this entire outside. And then we're going to have to remove all of these sluices. Same thing here. And then all of this, remember the water level here is just as high as everything that has yet to have explosives placed on it. So we will need to have this go down a little bit before we blow this up, or else it's going to flood everywhere. But I don't think that's going to be a problem, because we are continuing to pump. This is continuing to evaporate, and if we are truly desperate, which I don't think we're truly desperate, but I can go ahead and just lower that floodgate, let a little bit more of it out if I have this set to auto open, which I had not. I did change it last episode, 2 episodes ago. We just want to drain a little bit of this out so that we can have no possible splashbacks, flooding, whatever, so on and so forth. And we're just going to let that be what it's going to be. We're storing a ton of water here. It's not going to be an issue. Again, completely full storage. It's only 18 days. We're going to be fine. I just don't want to cause any stupid issues with this. I don't have to have the reservoir completely drained. I just need to make sure that this is set appropriately here. So let's take this back to 0.65. That should help tremendously, having it down here. And then all we have to do is, right here, remember this is 1 level deep. Just blast all of this out. And then actually right here, this can be blasted out again, but we'll have easy enough access to it. I will go ahead and take these here as triples as well. I know that's going to, you know, still have, words fail me, still have some water coming out of there, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I'm doing triples here so I can have that go all the way down, and then, of course, we're going to put levees. We could have also done impermeable barriers, but I don't want any chance of, you know, transmission of clean water coming through here, and that should end up being a very good change for us to make. Again, we still have 17 days, but other stuff we want to do today, like I said, is fill in some of this area here with crops. We already have trees down here we're not completely using. And to do that, remember, we still have, just to demonstrate, that's the wrong one, but we'll go pick that up later. We still have all of this height that at some point we're going to want to use either for growing crops or irrigation, storage, or whatever. So what I was thinking is that when we do our actual irrigation of this thing, I'm going to build the irrigation platform all the way up here, so I don't have to take it out and do it again later. Obviously, that's not going to be in this spot. So let's go ahead and take that out. Get this back going the way it needs to be going. And I talked a couple episodes ago now about the positioning strategy for where we're going to be putting the irrigation. And to reach the entire corner, minus this bit right here, which is a pillar, so it doesn't matter, I have to have a spacing of 10, and then 10 this way, which that shows up as 9. So turns out that, fortuitously, this tile right here, I'll just go ahead and take this out for the purposes of demonstrating what I am talking about here. This tile here, this corner right here, is going to need to be the corner of our irrigation station. So, 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, I believe is what that math worked out to. If not, then it's not that big of a deal because it goes 15 to the side either way. And that's going to be totally fine because 15 here gives us 30, and then 10 on either side plus the 30. It's fine. It's fine. So this, when it goes all the way up, is going to be as high as that goes. But that does give us an interesting little problem here, is because this doesn't line up perfectly with one of these pillars. So what's going to happen is probably this pillar and this pillar are both going to have to go... Actually, maybe this pillar, this pillar, this pillar, and then whatever... Yeah, this pillar are going to have to go all the way up, and it's basically just going to be right in the middle of this. So, in preparation for that, I'm going to have this go all the way, even if we're not going to be building levels up to there. And then this... See, this is going to be rough because it's going to take all of this out. But it's not going to be that bad. It'll only take half of it. I think I could maybe, you know, maybe survive. We'll see what happens. I do need to put in, I guess... Man, I thought I had this all figured out. I clearly don't, but... Is that one going to have to go away as well? Not if I do this, not if I do this correctly. That just needs to be a single... Yeah, I'll just have to do one of these here. Just pop in a ladder. They have to go all the way around. Oh well, they'll figure it out. We have connectivity here, it's fine. But, I digress. All of this has to go up. I really did not plan this very well at the very beginning of this series when I started putting this entire thing in. But life goes on. Everything will be just fine. But I do have to have the irrigation in place before I can plant any crops here, especially if this is going to be completely decoupled. So I suppose we should go ahead and just get these in place here. Before we get rid of this, I do have to have this taken care of, just in case something goes absolutely, horribly, terribly wrong. So we will have to wait a little bit for that. Outside of that, see, most of the comments last video were people just saying, hey, I liked how you did the time-lapse, or I wish you would do more time-lapsing, etc., so on and so forth. So I'm glad you guys agree with me that that was a necessary thing for us to do, because we're going to have to keep doing even more of it as we keep going forward. But it looks like right here we are in good shape to go ahead and blast... oh, that is overhanging anyway, so I guess that's not a big deal. Beep, boom. Yes, a little bit of flooding, but not very much at all, because that level had already been removed to that point. B for boom. And B for boom, this last one. So, now we have water sources completely surrounded by nothing. Obviously can't go underneath them to take anything else out. But if we surround these now with regular old levees, it'll be very simple for us to have this completely decoupled, no matter what else we do with this. And everything will be just fine. But before we do anything, that was an aggressive spacebar hit. I'm going to make this a little easier for myself here. And I'm going to change these platforms here into overhangs. That's going to be the simplest way to do it. And because I did say I was going to remove this reservoir, move it somewhere else at some point. I probably for right now, I have 1,300 logs. I think I can do this. Before things get super crazy, just fill this bit in with regular levees. Somehow I messed that up. So I don't have to redo it later. I have enough height here to go ahead and make this go all the way down. See, this is what happens, is it ends up being just a mess all the way down. Take care of all this stuff, but it's a necessary thing. So this actually needs to be a double. That gets put there. The reason I'm doing this is so I can come in with exactly the right, that's not that one, exactly the right overhang, which is the 5x1 as soon as that one's gone, and then this will be completely physically decoupled from any amount of terrain influence. And regrettably, yes, the entire overhang thing on both sides hinges on this this bit of dirt that has to go away. Okay, are there going to be any horrific consequences if I get rid of this now? I don't think the answer is yes. So, look at all those materials. That's a lot of materials. Okay, well, it has to be done, so farewell, MC Escher inspired thing that doesn't actually break any rules about how things are showing up at whatever. All these pieces, it is what it is, but they still have access to all this, so we're totally fine. We'll just get this bit popped in here, and I guess easiest, fastest method of getting this built is just going to be to put in, I guess, just this bridge here will be fine. They can build all of that at that point. Blow that up. Blow that up. Now that is even. They can build that, and then they can build all that, and then they can come over here, and now because that's taken care of, no matter what, I can do that. And then on top of that, I can do that, and then on top of that. Now, we have to be careful here. This is a pillar. It is going to be coupled to everything below, so the bad water can never touch this tile. What that's going to require we do is come in here with a platform, and then from there we come in with an overhang. Okay, this also needs to be blasted down. That needs to be a triple. And then this is going to have to be a double and a double, or a triple and a single. In fact, the smarter thing to do is just going to be to do that, because then I can put that at once, and then I can blast that, and then I can blast both of those at the same time, so on and so forth. But I digress. It's a complicated thing, but we can do it. That is the wrong building to put in there. This has to be a sluice here. This actually doesn't need to come up all this way, but this needs to go down enough to be completely physically decoupled. Alright, then that goes down there, so on and so forth. But as soon as... I can just go ahead and get rid of this. I can come in here with my sluices here, but it does have to have room here to put the 4x, not the 5x, the 4x. So, this being in this spot here is going to mean that I have to have that there, which means I can't put it on this edge, but I still have to protect stuff, so that has to go there. That has to go there. But because this is a pillar for irrigation purposes... Actually, no, this is on the edge of the map. This doesn't need to be a... doesn't need to be a thing. You know what? It's going to be easier if I just don't. It's going to be easier if I just get rid of this pillar and make it levees the rest of the way up, because it's not going to affect too much. Oh boy, the perils of trying to do all of this, quote-unquote, the correct way. And also not flood everything. I'm pretty sure that was correct. We've got a couple things down here we can get rid of. Just pop that out. No loss. I forgot about that there, but I'm not really worried about it at this exact moment in time. I just want this to be a thing that will work without being an incredibly huge annoyance. So, unfortunately, that does mean a little bit of micromanaging here until we have everything taken care of perfectly with absolutely no regrets. You know what? It's a good thing I caught this. Because guess what I haven't done? I haven't blasted this all the way down to the bottom of the map. And that is going to cause a lot of problems if I don't take care of it. So, regrettably, we do have to do this. That has to... Is that even the correct thing? No, it's not. That has to go down there. This is still super high. It is what it is. I shouldn't have taken the bridge out because the bridge was actually going to be a super helpful thing for us to be able to access that, but... I forgot this isn't connected anymore. What am I doing, man? Well, I guess just goes to show I can't have two tremendously excellent episodes in a row or else bad things will happen. So okay, so that... Well, this one needs to go up continuously anyway, but for right now, it's kind of causing problems here. Alright, so... Now, yes, friends, this is a time-lapse situation where I must, absolutely must, just get this taken care of without wasting any more of your time. But it's a simple enough thing where it's not going to take the entirety of the rest of the drought to get it done. Just have to blast out a little bit more stuff, take care of a couple tiny things, and then we'll have this permanently, completely decoupled with no additional issues. Hopefully. Assuming everything has gone perfectly well. But we'll see how this goes when we're all finished. Alright, it seems like finally we've finished the bulk of this. There's still a tiny bit more left to do, but I am pretty convinced at this point that I have solved our problems here. Let's just go ahead and blast that away. And then, I suppose, yeah, probably the best thing to do here is just a, for the sake of continuity, we'll do single platforms. And then on top of that, just put a regular levee. So what this has done is this has completely decoupled from everything. The water source. We do need to set these sluices correctly. I did not forget. These close below contamination of 1%. These close above contamination of 1%. And that is turned off. That is turned off. Everything should be good. So, good water will come through here. Yes, it will touch this wall of the reservoir, but that's fine because it's good water. It will help irrigate things. But the rest of this is fine. All we have to do is extend this one more level up. Yes, I did see that. Don't you worry. It's gonna be okay. Wait a second. Oh no, I actually did that. Okay. This is one level too low. After all that time lapsing, I swear. This is yeah. Please hold. Alright, so I managed to fix it, minus these last two pieces that have yet to be put in, but it is actually at the correct height now. Yes, I know. Stupid mistake, but we fixed it, and I didn't waste 20 more minutes of your time doing it. So, what we have to do now is consider what kind of levels are going to be going above this for the sake of future planning. I realize now that I could have actually kept, since this has moved up, I could have actually kept these two, at the very least, as dirt, and then, you know, had actual dirt available over here. But I think, considering the amount of time that we did not have to take care of this after I realized there was a mistake, this is going to have to stay like this for now. In the future, we can just delete these two and then just rebuild this tiny little piece of it here. But for now, everything is fine. Let's make sure these are set correctly, which, again, should have been a thing, but I did not do it that way right the first time. But this should be all good now. We have all of our impermeable floors in place. Take the ladder out, so everything should be fine. Now what we need to do is focus on getting these terrain stacks constructed. I'm going to go ahead and put in ladders up the back side, outside, whatever, of all of these, just because that's going to be the easiest way to do it. And now this one gets raised up as well, because remember what I was saying before, is that I'm going to build the irrigation thing all the way to the top, even if that's not the best place technically for it to be with regard to what we're doing right now. Eventually we're going to want it that way, and I don't want to do it twice. So this will just have to come up the back side here. Still interconnects with the paths quite nicely, but that'll get that taken care of. And then at the very, very, very top level of terrain, we will need to have the base of the irrigation station, I guess we could call it. So we already know, based on what we had done before, that it is possible to put these intersecting with each other very easily, just like so. And now we have this bit in the middle here, and then this from that point can be expanded out to our maximum level of support, which for purposes of this, I'm just going to make this 7x7 platform up here. And then we measure in from the outside once again. 10 gets us to right underneath this. Oh, come on. This guy right here. That lines up there. And then the 10 from the outside is not going to let me do it on a spot that doesn't actually have anything in there, but 10 there. I really hope I actually got this correct. This is, I need you to understand, this is using every ounce of my brain power to try and do this when I don't have a clear shot to the edge. So we already know this is 9 here, this is 10, so that is the edge. That's what we're working with. I can't put any more dirt above this, but it doesn't matter what goes to the side, it matters what goes below. So now I can take my levees and just pop them in there like that, except that corner is in the wrong spot. And again, this is absolutely destroying my brain attempting to commit math. This is 7, including this. 8, 9, 10 here. Okay, good. Good, good, good. So that is what we're looking at here. This is our irrigation location. Wow, that actually... was that actually supposed to be perfectly in the middle of that? Because it super is. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's fine. I actually don't know that that's where that was supposed to be, but I'm just going to roll with it. I really hope that works. If it doesn't, then that's really, really going to be terrible. But before I start time-lapsing this, because yes, you already knew this was going to be a time-lapse, we do have to have a fluid dump in place. And the way that I want to do this is I want to have a fluid dump in the middle, and then we can also take advantage of some of the other stuff that we can do with all this, like showers. Just nice and easy around this outside here. Remember, the beavers are going to be living pretty much all above this level when we get there eventually. So that is something we're going to want to prepare for. Going to go ahead and use my ladder here. I'll use my ladder here, use my ladder here, use my ladder here, get everything completely connected. Go around the outside, so on and so forth. And then to get that connected to every bit there. And I know we don't have anything up here yet, but just for the sake of consistency, that can go there. So that is going to end up being the thing that we end up building now. So we're going to time-lapse this. I really hope during the time-lapse my my water diversion thing works. If it doesn't, then I'll come out of it and you guys can see the failure happen in real time. But I'm really hoping that's not going to be the case. Regardless, enjoy the sped-up process of getting that built, and hopefully pretty soon we'll be able to have all of this land irrigated forever with no problems. Alright, so this seems to be complete. I did have to catch myself with the placement of the terrain once again, but I'm going to go ahead and turn that fluid dump on, and we're going to see just how much of this gets irrigated. I'm actually not entirely sure how this is going to work with the irrigation being in between, completely evenly spaced between 4 pillars. I don't know how much it's going to transfer out this way. So there's a very good chance that things do not go exactly as I hope, and we may have to completely revisit this design, but that is part of the way we like to do things here, whether or not it's better. We'll just have this guy come up here and hopefully... Oh, that's a great sign. That is a fantastic sign. It irrigates just about everything I need and want it to to a certain extent. So, okay, maybe there's a little bit of room for improvement, but I think overall, things are looking pretty good. We may need to slightly revisit this at some point, but I am overwhelmingly satisfied with what we've got going on here. Now, the big question is, does this work to decouple the pollution? We already know this is going to work just fine to actually get all the nasty water out. We have actually verified that is set correctly. But the rest of this, I don't know. The food thing, I know there's probably at least a couple of you who've seen this and said, you're really, really dangerously low on food. You got to solve this problem right now. Like, okay, yeah. We're going to do that. We're going to do that right now. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, look how close this is to irrigating almost every single tile. Like, I actually thought this was going to go really poorly, but I'm glad it didn't. So let's do single speed, and let's peel this back and take a look at where we are now. We have all these trees marked for cutting. We're not using them all right at this exact moment. We have coffee bushes. We have a lot of coffee bushes. I don't think we're going to need this many. And then take this up a couple more levels. We have the tiny two-way stations that do need to have the gatherer flags placed here and here. The reason I left a path segment is so that if I need to build anything else, that's already there and I don't need to worry about it. These guys can handle that. This bit in the middle with the path is going to go away when we fix everything else there. But then coming up to the next level, oh yes, we still have a whole lot of planks on the ground. How could I forget? Well, the litter on the ground is probably just going to stay there, to be perfectly honest with you, until it gets picked up. But this is the first level where we can start planting 2 high crops. Not TOO high, TWO high, which are going to be things like corn, or canola, or soybeans. Those all require 2 tall. So if we go up 2 more levels, how did I not have all this dirt in here? Okay, well I'm glad I noticed that. That also might be contributing to this not being irrigated correctly here. But these levels, these single high levels right here, will not allow me to plant corn. It will let me plant canola. I really thought canola was too tall. Will not allow soybeans, and will allow eggplant. So these 2 layers down here are for corn and soybeans. I have the math that was done on my behalf in the comments over here on the other monitor, but I think we're not worrying about optimizing right now so much as we are about just getting anything accomplished. So, in service of that goal, we will need to, actually I will have needed to do this prior to right now, but it's not too late because this isn't going to leak anyway. I'm going to put in, just because this is a this is a space that's going to allow me to do it, I'm going to put in, connecting all the way down here, one of these vertical tubeways to go between levels, just as a means of making stuff happen. But we're going to have to be ready to do some damage. I'm like 99.999% sure this is not going to be a problem, because there's no logical reason why this should be a problem. But you know as well as I do, Timberborn doesn't care about your feelings. So what is going to happen here is this is just going to come completely all the way out. And that's that. But at the very bottom, we've got our... Okay, I guess I'm going to have to peel this back. Tiny two-way station, which is actually going to have to go... See, kids, this is why you try this out before you start doing it in a video, so you don't look like an idiot. It's going to have to go on that level, because that is where we are at. But I digress. I told you. I was going to have to do things in a way that may cause frustrations. This is the wrong thing. It didn't used to be this way. It didn't used to be this way. I used to actually, be able to use critical thinking skills. But I don't know. At some point, something happened. So this is keeping with our spacing we had down here. We have 5 complete spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So including that, with the doorway on this side is going to be the same best way to take care of that. We'll just have to do a little bit more of this, a little bit more of this, and every level that actually has an exit, we will do just like so. That gets us up to the top-ish. But I'm going to go one more bit up. Okay, I guess I didn't click quite right here. And that guy's going to go up there, and then we're going to have to get that connected some other way. I'm just going to keep that the same. But now, friends, you can see the genius of this design. Ignore that little splash there. There is zero, and I repeat, ignore that, zero bad water infiltrating anywhere up here. It is only irrigated by this thing up here and the reservoir, and it is almost every tile being plantable. Remember, if there is a tiny bit of green on the tile, you can grow something on it. So it looks like there's just this one that might not be, but I'm not going to lose any sleep over that. So, again, they have to build this. That is going to just take some time, but for the time being, we can come in here and get our ring around the whatever thing and then figure it out from there. Now, you might be asking, why haven't I elevated these tiny tubeway stations on the 2 high levels? And the answer to that is I just don't want to. I know this one had to be elevated at the bottom here, and then it will directly connect with this mess, which I actually do need to go ahead and do. But I just figured it's going to be so much easier to just have paths here anyway and just not worry about it. This one just does have to be kind of at the corner of that 5 in, 5 out system. But I think this is going to be the best way to work on things and just not do stupid stuff. So that's how that's going to go. It's already kind of set up that way in most of these. And that's going to allow us to come in here and, oh, come on, come in here and get rid of these extra paths on that level. And this level. These ones on the inside I'm not worried about quite yet. This one's good to go. This one needs to be exploded. And then this one was already fine. So this will be connected two-way wise to everything down there. The next problem we have to solve is, what do we do about farms? Because obviously farmhouses do not fit in our single high things. However, don't forget, we have 4 quadrants. The amount of debate occurring around the term quadrant just absolutely destroys my brain. Like, I don't know how that's a thing people don't understand. But we can kind of in the middle here. This is a bad example because this isn't on the same level. But one of these guys placed right about here just about reaches the entirety of the corner over here. Now, when we get up to this area, we're probably going to have to get creative with some holes in between and some additional sets of tubeways to get around to whatever. But like I said, we're taking it one step at a time. So the goal here, since I have not tested this, the goal is to see just how close to the center I can put one of these farmhouses and still access every single tile that is plantable. And it seems like probably, okay, because that one has that. That's probably about as far as we're going to get and still get all of these tiles in the corner. That might not be the same answer around everywhere else, but that does seem to be what we're working with here. Keep in mind also that this central core area has not yet been built at all. I have not done anything with that, and I'm kind of afraid to do that live, so I might have to mess with that over the weekend and not record it and see what works and then come back with the solution. But since we have these nifty little bookmarks here, this double here, this double here being the center of the map, I'm just going to go ahead and say, for the sake of what we were trying to do, this farmhouse in this location on this level should being the operative term, should allow us to do what we are trying to do. I'm going to have to take all of these out here. That is all just more planks to deal with, but that's fine. Farmhouses also don't need to have paths. So we don't really need to be that concerned about whatever else. But we do still need, for the time being, to have them interact with the rest of the map, so that is where and how that is going to be. So, we have actually no food that is not already processed because the population keeps growing. I'm going to start, because corn is the ideal thing here, I'm going to start by first consulting my notes over here, which says that corn needs to have 450 crops. That is going to be 10 rows of 45, which we are not going to be able to do, but we can split this up into rows of 5, because that is what this is set up with right here. And each quadrant is 25 by 25, which you multiply that together, and it is technically more than 450. I actually don't know what that number is. This is where everyone who has degrees in math gets really, really mad at me in the comments. So go ahead. It's 625. So if we planted one level, accounting for all of the pillars and lost space or whatever, if we planted one level of one quadrant with corn, in theory that's enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant this entire level of this quadrant with corn that we can access. Obviously, the reservoir is taking a big chunk of that away. But we do have a lot of pathing that is just kind of, you know, not really that necessary long term. But this is going to allow us to have a whole lot of corn. And if that is all the corn we actually need for 1,000 beavers, then we've really, really overbuilt all the rest of this. But there's still plenty of other stuff to do. And corn is just a really efficient crop. Soybeans need 543, which again is not an entire corner of one quadrant of one level. But the cassavas need 900, which is a corner of a quadrant and a half. And then there's also other stuff. We have to plant the canola so we can actually turn the eggplants and the soybeans into stuff, which is another 326, which is roughly half of a corner of a quadrant of a level. So I'm probably not even making any sense saying this. It's fine. I guess at this point my brain is fried. That's how this works. But all this to say, we have planted the corn, or we have enabled the planting of the corn. It has not yet been planted. There's a chance this one farmhouse is not enough to keep up with. We will evaluate that when the time comes. But as it stands now, things are looking pretty okay. We also can put a farmhouse, excuse me, right here next to this two-boy station, which will give us access to, peel this back, also this level down here, thanks to the two-boys. So if that's going to play nice with us here, my God, look at that. Okay, new plan. New plan. Farmhouse next to the two-boy station. On every level that can do it. It can even go up here. Oh, man, like, I knew it extended, like, the speed at which these beavers could go, but I didn't think it would actually extend the range of the farms. I know it doesn't work that way with the foresters. Oh, boy. Okay, I love it when I learn stuff in real time that just completely blows my mind. This may have just solved almost literally all of our problems with range on the one high levels. Look at that! Look at that! I can't believe that. Unbelievable. Could you imagine? All that being said, what we can do, and we may do at some point, is we can do this same kind of thing. I love that sound. The same kind of thing with the overhangs that we did on the bottom on both of these levels, and then just really expand. Man, there's going to be, I know there's going to be some of you who are just like, oh, I told you so, it was going to work that way, and that's totally fine. Please do. But I am just, to borrow a saying from the Brits, I am chuffed to bits. I don't know why we as Americans don't use more British slang sayings, because I think that's hilarious. I love that. But now I sound like I'm out of a Thomas the Tank Engine episode. I digress. This is tremendous. I love this so much. Let's go up one more level. I missed that website. That's completely irrelevant. Let's plant soybeans. Oh man, I know there's still other bits that we have to take care of, but this is just so satisfying. It's so satisfying. Like I don't know how to describe it. I really don't. Obviously this bit here needs to be removed because we've solved all of that, but man. It should not be legal to be having this much fun playing this game. It really should not. Maybe that's a sign I need to get I don't know, professional help or something. But this oh, okay, well that was kind of stupid of me to do that way. Okay, so I guess I will have to put a staircase right here. It'll help solve all of those problems. Man, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. It's going to work. It's going to work, and this is going to be awesome. So, yeah, more planks, I guess. Let's just save ourselves the grief and pause both of these lumber mills so they can just pick all that garbage up off the ground. Plant the rest of these as soybeans. Oh, yes, friends. Oh, yes. And now we have... Why is this not built yet? Too far from a... Oh. Okay, we ran into that problem before. If all of this stuff was not connected, but I digress. Just for right now, because I know this is a very pressing need, I'm just going to plant all this level as canola. We also can't forget about cassavas. I had looked past that, but the cassavas have to have 900, kohlrabis have to have 1350. 1350 is basically half of an entire level. So, I'm not really worried about kohlrabis. Cassavas I will plant. Everything else, not so much. But I do need to make sure that the farmhouse can actually reach enough of this. Oh, this hasn't been built yet. Okay, well. So, let's see if I can find a decent viewing angle on this so that we can get them to plant everything. I'm going to time-lapse a little bit of this planting process because I think it's really fun to watch, and obviously we still have to put in the tube ways, but I'm really, really happy with the way this is turning out. I was kind of shooting from the hip a little bit on a lot of this, and I didn't really know if it was going to work, if it was going to make sense. But I think we've managed to figure it out in a way that's going to be really, really fun, really rewarding as we continue to see stuff get taken care of. So obviously there's still lots to do, and these 2, 3, whatever farmhouses aren't going to be enough to handle everything. But the range extensions with the tubeways, man, that is cool. I can't get over that. I just think that is fantastic stuff. So, yeah, like I said, we're going to let them plant a little bit, make it through a couple days of this bad tide here. And then, yeah, we'll come out of the other half and we'll regroup, see what we've still got to do. And then that might be it for this one, folks. I am trying to do project-oriented episodes and not just, okay, I've got an hour and a half to play this, let's see what we can get done. The response to that was actually really good. And I do appreciate the 1,100 of you who took that poll on the community tab and told me your thoughts on episode length, so on and so forth. We're working together to make this the best we can and still have a good, casual, fun time. So I always really, really appreciate you, no matter what. But let's go ahead and come out of this time lapse and talk about what is going to be next for the rest of this episode, which probably isn't going to be much, and then the projects we're going to be needing to focus on as we continue moving into the rest of the series. Okay, so we have 14 days left in the bad tide. We've got the corn well on its way to being grown. We've got the soybeans well on their way to being grown, and we have canola. We haven't planted anything up top, and I haven't planted eggplants yet. But part of the reason for that is because I can just unplant all of the corn down here and up here, and all of these soybeans and all of this canola. And until we do something in this corner, I can use this to plant eggplants. So that is just going to be a process that will, in fact, take time, our favorite saying ever. But I love to see all of this stuff. And I know it's not like the entire range accessible, but look at all this, man. The idea is working. It is working, and it is fantastic. I was a little apprehensive that maybe it wouldn't, but I forgot to fix this corner here. It does look like this piece of land is not irrigated, but I will get over that. That is totally okay. Totally fine. And now this goes all the way down to down here. Goes all the way down to here. And then these guys have tremendous, and I do mean tremendous, range increases. So, love to see it. love to see the progress. Hopefully the food can catch up, which is also going to mean that we are going to have to put in additional processing buildings. I took those out so I could, redo all of this. I think, based on what we have, well, we don't have anything raw to work with at this point in time, but I have one for cassavas here, one for cassavas here, one for soybeans here. We're not even really growing cassavas right now, so I'm going to change this to be soybeans, and this to be soybeans, and this one to be cassava. That should help. We've got our corn rations, we've got our eggplant rations, but we don't have any raw foods of either to work with. So for now, I think it's just going to be an issue of time, letting stuff catch up, get all that taken care of, then we can reevaluate where we are, because once we have the actual raw foods in place that can actually feed these buildings at full capacity, then we're going to have a much better idea of what our actual abilities are in terms of feeding beavers. But this is a tremendously great start. I think it is probably going to be wise to go ahead, like I said, keep eggplants over here for right now. And since we do want to have cassavas because they're very easy, quick crops to grow, I'm going to place this level, at least for right now, part of it as cassava growing, because this is, in theory, going to be something that we could pave over with another layer of dirt, or two, or whatever. This whole thing is very, very open-ended. There's no rule that said we had to go 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, and then ones from that point on. We can also just do a 2-high layer, or we could not do another layer at all. It could just be those levee blocks. But that is going to be a really good spot, I think, for us to go ahead and stop for today. Because I had a goal, I set it, I met it, and I didn't forget it, because I'm not making something in that new wave oven or whatever the heck that thing is called. But we made progress, and the video is not going to be 2 hours long, which I know a lot of you are going to be happy with. I am trying to keep these non-water beaver videos somewhere around the 45 to 50 minute range if I can. I don't know how that's going to pan out for this, because I did have a lot of time-lapsing going on, but I do know it's not going to be super long. And it's goal-oriented, which is a good way to make sure that it is still enjoyable to watch, even if it isn't as long as you want, or even if it isn't as short as you want. You get something done, and then you say, all right, cool, let's come back tomorrow, or the next day, or the next day. And that is, I think, the way that we're going to be moving on from this point forward. So, all that being said, really do appreciate you being here. You already knew it, but I am remiss if I don't say it every single time. I cannot do it without your support. And you guys watching the videos and commenting and all that stuff is really, truly what makes this possible. Of course, Beard Boosters with the direct financial support. Just absolutely blown away by everybody's enthusiasm and support and just general positive attitudes approaching all this stuff. It's really important to me, and I am glad that it is important to you too. So, whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we will see you back again in this series on Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow for some roller coasters, and we'll see you on a Monday for more water beavers. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.